This is one of the best pieces of writing advice I've ever been given. I was at my first science fiction convention. It was at the Adelphi Hotel in Liverpool in 1997. Chris Priest had advised me to go, and he said this was the place to go and meet people, these Easter conventions. It was great, but it was kind of scary too. I didn't know anybody, but the Adelphi is a big place. You can kind of wander around and not look like a lost part. I remember seeing Octavia Butler gliding through the room. She was like one of the guests of honor. I was like, wow. She was like, what, enigmatic, graceful. And then when I was getting on the train to come home, I helped Brian Aldiss with his suitcase. Really felt like I was in the right place. Chris had told me to just start talking to people, so I thought, okay, I'll give it a go. So I was wandering around and saw this guy at the bar. I thought I recognised him. He looked like a writer. His name was David Garnett. Now, I had read a story David had written called The Only One. Really liked it. This was a great story set in the 19th century about trying to undo something you really regret. And I thought, well, nothing ventured. We spent the rest of the evening standing at the bar talking science fiction. Dave was introducing me to people and all that kind of stuff, like real players in the industry, writers, artists, editors. I couldn't believe it. This was exactly why I'd gone to this convention. Now, at the time, Dave was editing a magazine called New Worlds. And towards the end of the evening, he told me to send him a story. So when I got home, I looked through the story and probably rewrote it a bit. When you're looking at something like this with someone else's eyes, like, oh my God. But anyway, I sent it off. This was in the days of posting things in envelopes. There was no email back then, no online submissions. You had to send your story or whatever through the post with a stamped addressed envelope so they could send it back to you when they rejected it. They usually did. Anyway, the story came back with some notes. He didn't want to buy it, but there was a lot of really positive feedback. And he did give me one really solid piece of advice at the end. Don't try and cram in so much. So I looked at the words and I looked at the story and I didn't know what he was on about. Where had I crammed? Where was there too much? Now, at the time I couldn't see it. It was only years later that I realised. In trying to make a big impression, I was throwing the kitchen sink at my writing. There was no air, no room to breathe, no restraint. I hadn't yet learned that what you leave out is as important as what you put in. What do I mean by that? If you think about people having a conversation, for example, and this is something I learned writing audio drama, in everyday conversation we don't talk in complete sentences. When you really start listening to conversations, they're all over the place. When writing a conversation, you've got to leave gaps. Gaps that are filled in by the listener or the reader or whoever. In something like audio drama, the real meat of a story is between the lines. And as one BBC producer once told me, the dialogue has to skim over the surface of reality. Now, I didn't get anything made by the BBC. I had a couple of meetings at Broadcasting House, but Listening Shelf did make a great little production of something I wrote called Mod Rocker. Now, I initially wrote this we did a charity thing for Macmillan Cancer Support, and of all the stuff I've written, this is the thing I'm most proud, to be honest. It's like a 12-minute thing. We did it as a stage play, script in hand, couple of actors, and then, like I say, Listening Shelf made it into an audio drama. So if you're interested, take a listen. Learning what to leave out is one of the most difficult things in any creative endeavour. Less is more. That's the phrase for a reason. And it's really all about confidence. Confidence in our vision. Confidence in our ability. Confidence in ourselves. So look for things to cut. Leave out anything that doesn't earn its place. If in doubt, leave it out. Trust your gut instinct. I'll say that so many times. Trust your gut instinct. I've been writing as an adult for over 30 years, and it still amazes me how much you can cut and still say the same thing. What's the best piece of advice you've ever been given? Doesn't have to be about writing. Let me know in the comments. If you've enjoyed this video, clicking the like button helps other people find it too, and do consider subscribing for more videos on similar subjects coming soon.